So you've heard me talk about the elements of art, and you've seen this hanging up on the wall of the art room. Today's element of art that we're going to be talking about is value. Value, as it pertains to art, is the lightness or darkness of a color. And over here you see different value scales. The top one is going from light to dark in one color. That's called monochromatic. Value can consist of a tint or a shade. A tint is when you add white to one color. A shade is when you add black to one color. We can have lights and darks and shadows and highlights. Monochromatic means one color. This artwork here is a monochromatic value scale of blue. This one is a monochromatic value scale of black. For our next project, we are going to do a background made of a monochromatic color scheme. We're using different values of red. So let's get started and let me show you how to make a background. It doesn't matter what color background you pick. It is indicating kind of like a sunrise or a sunset look to it, but we're going to be creative and take artistic license, and we're going to do whatever color we want. You might see that there's some paper plates. We're just going to reuse some of these. If you're using the same color of red, you can take one that had red paint on it, purple with purple paint on it. I'm going to choose a different color just so I can show you how this looks, and I'm going to pick green. So I'm going to pour some white on one side of my plate, and I'm going to take some green paint and put it on the other side of my plate. And this is how we start. At the bottom over here, you can see it's pretty much white. So I want to get some white paint on my paper. I'm going to brush, and also if you notice, it kind of looks like there's waves or mountains going on in here. We want to kind of try to get that look. So I'm going to get this white paint on, and I can make it look like there's some hills going on over here. Now I'm going to take just a tiny little dab of green and mix it into just a small area of my white paint, just to make that a really, really light green. And now I'm going to use that, and I'm going to continue getting my hill look in here. If I go a little bit over the white, just a little bit, it's going to soften that edge, blend it in a little bit. So now I have my first value of green. Now I'm going to dab my brush in a little bit again and mix it in with this and make it a little tiny bit darker. Notice I didn't mix all of the white in because I'm going to be needing more white as I go along. We want to make sure that now this next value is a little bit darker than the one we just did. Maybe I don't want to keep this same kind of bump in the middle over here, so I'm going to start a little bit higher and continue filling in. Use the edge of the brush get some hills going on in there. So you can see now we have 3 values here. Again, I'm going to dip just a little bit of the green, and I'm going to make it a little bit darker. You want to make sure you add enough of the green so you can see a considerable difference in the values. That looks about right. And just continue doing that until we fill up the whole paper. Again, I'm going to add in some more green. I take more white just because I need a little bit more paint on my brush. So just make sure you keep going darker and darker. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values right now. I'm going to add a whole lot of green. Make 6 values. And then for my last step, 7, I think I'm going to use just the straight green without any white added to it. Make sure when you're painting that you go completely off the edges and cover the sides. And there we have our finished background with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different values